And for the first time in history, ladies and gentlemen, we have an individual who is ready, willing, and able to sponsor federal legislation that would require all 50 states and the District of Columbia to provide equitable funding of education. Whatever is spent for a child to go to public school will also have to be paid for a child to attend private or religious school. And to tell us more about this is candidate for U.S. Congress in New Jersey's 8th District, right here, Roland Straten.
Thank you very much. And I made this decision to run for Congress. And I started writing my positions and sending out emails, and Israel came back, and I'm not so sure he really believed that I was fully a believer in school choice, but I was, and that's why I'm here. I am Roland Straten, and I am running for Congress in the 8th Congressional District. Many will ask, why is a Republican running for Congress in West Orange, home of Dick Cody and a Democratic stronghold? Why are you running as a Republican when times are so tough for Republicans right now? I'm here, I'm doing this, and I'm here tonight because of issues like school choice. I passionately believe that we can do a better job in Washington. I'm an engineer. I believe in logic and reasonableness, and we have to use logical and reasonable solutions. And school choice is just such a clear-cut, reasonable solution to the education problem that I cannot believe everybody does not embrace it. I think all reasonable people, regardless of their political persuasion, should agree that we should give all of our children the best possible education that we can give them. We have, however, been doing a really terrible job educating our children. That's not to say that some kids are not getting a good education. If you live in the right town, if you have lots of money, you can give your child an exceptional education. But if you're disadvantaged or live in the wrong district, your child's education could be a disaster. Education is just too important not to do the best we can for every child. Just want to go to one solution that you hear a lot. There have been many solutions, but the one that you hear a lot is that we don't give public schools enough money. If we just gave them a little bit more money, they could do the job. As probably everybody in this room knows, in 1990, there was a series of decisions by the New Jersey Supreme Court, the famous Abbott decisions. During those decisions, they mandated that the state spend an enormous amount of money for schools for 28 specific districts called special needs districts, which are now known as the Abbott districts. The money has been increased, and the number of Abbott districts have been increased to 31 districts. Despite all of the money that is spent, there has been no significant improvement in education in these districts. My business is in Paterson, New Jersey. I was involved in something called the Paterson Education Fund way back when, try to help the school district. The education has just gone downhill from then. This 20-year experiment proves that court-ordered spending is not a solution. State auditors discovered that roughly 1/4 of all expenditures during the last 2 school years were excessive, unnecessary, and lacking documentation. The state has just voted to borrow another $3.9 billion, borrow $3.9 billion for this failed program. Just a little bit how I got to become a proponent of school choice. My wife was a teacher at MKA, and we would spend a lot of time discussing educational philosophy. We would talk about open classrooms, gifted and talented programs, whether kids should wear uniforms, group teaching, outdoor education, many types of different programs. What became very apparent, quickly apparent, was that one size does not fit all. You can have a wonderful program that's good for 50% of the kids, but it will be a disaster for 50% of the others. And the parent has no choice on whether or not that child will go into one type of educational philosophy or another type of educational philosophy. And that is one of the major, major problems. So when I was thinking about this, about 20 years ago, I had read an article in Time magazine by Milton Friedman on how to improve education. He was very positive, very forthright, and he's a tremendous writer. I wish I had his skills, his intellectual ability. But I was very curious about his ideas. And I wrote him a letter. I was thrilled to get a personal letter back from Dr. Friedman. And that was one of the high points in my life, I think. And he outlined very passionately his ideas and sent me a lot of backup literature and made me a believer that his ideas were really good. His plan was really very simple. It's really amazing how it takes a brilliant person to come out with something simple that works. You see that more and more often. And his plan, and I quote from his webpage and from what he wrote way back when, that every parent, you have to give every parent the right to send their child to the school of their choice, regardless of where they live or their income. Parents choose schools based on their child's needs, not their addresses. That's so simple. You know, just do it. It can be implemented very easily, and basically there's a voucher system, which I hope we're going to talk about a little bit later, but that's the basis of school choice. But while trying to implement choice, and this is a key point, advocates have tried for many years to accommodate the opponents. I think this is a mistake. What happens that programs are developed. We have sort of charter school programs, we have voucher schools, but they all have little quirks in them that make them non-operational, that make them fail. And this is really set up by the opponents to make a voucher system or a choice system fail. They do their best to undermine it. We cannot allow opponents to prevent workable choice solutions from being implemented under the guise of compromise. We have to be very positive. We have to put the type of plan that we have. What makes me very excited is that right now school choice is gaining a lot of momentum in the country. In Israel, I'm very proud. I can't see anybody out there, but I am proud to see the hard work you're doing. And I think probably in a couple years we're going to have this auditorium overflowing if you keep on doing this type of work. The opposition, however, is fierce. If we all stand together, work hard, we can give our children the educational opportunities they deserve. Put in a little pitch. If you elect me to Congress, I promise I will do everything I can to get a workable school choice program passed. Very briefly, my webpage is rolandstraten.com. Look at it. Look at what I've written. I've written a fair amount on school choice. If you agree with me, please support me. Write to me, email me, and tell me what your ideas are, and I'd appreciate it. And working together, we will get choice implemented, and we will get our children a good education. Thank you very, very much.